Okay, so today I've got something pretty cool to show you guys. For those who paid attention in the Chewbacca video, you'll know that we've been getting a couple of bits from TRamp recently, as they're helping out with our big old project that's currently sitting out there. And we decided we'll get a couple of extra bits as well. So TRamp are quite popular for a couple of bits when it comes to Stormtrooper cosplays, but it is rather pricey. So we'll let you know that. Again, I say this many a times, cosplay is not a cheap hobby, and this certainly isn't a cheap item, but it is really, really cool. So what this is TRamp's Blast FX E-11. This is actually a modified Shepperton Design Studios E-11 blaster. So here are my two next to each other. The top one here, this is my Shepperton one that she used to troop with, and the bottom one is the Blast FX one. As you can see, just looking at it, just at a glance, there's not a huge difference aesthetically between the two. But as I said, on this one there are a few bits that have been swapped out and modified, and there are some very nice electronics sitting in this. So there are actually two price ranges for a Blast Tech one. You can just pay for the electronics, which will set you back $150. So if you already have a Shepperton blaster and you're confident enough with fitting it yourself, you can just get the custom electronics and put it in. But if you do have your own Shepperton blaster and you'd rather not pay out for another one plus electronics, you can always just send him a message and ask him, hey, would you mind fitting it for me? He's a really nice guy and always likes to try and help out on a load of projects. As usual, I will link his stuff down in the description below so you can go check it out. He's mainly on Facebook, so if you're on there, that's the best place to contact him. So as I said, just the electronic kits will send you back about $150, probably a little bit more if you ask for him to fit it for you as well. But if you don't have a blaster that can be modified, or if you just really want one, if you've got the money to burn, this is going to set you back £495. Yes, I know that is a lot. That is very close to a standard set of armour. But with the workmanship, it is worth it. But as I always say in these reviews, there are other places you can buy stuff. If you're on a budget, I always say please do your research. Don't go out and buy something that's going to be over budget just because it's like, someone's told me that's the best one to get, I want to get that one. Other places do E11s. Probably the best one for a budget I'd say is Doopy-Doos. They do kit forms and they do complete ones for about under £100. So if you're looking for a cheap one, go there. But this is if you've got a little bit extra in the armour fund and you want one. So I will go through the physical features in this just a little bit because I want to change up the camera and get some really nice close-up shots because some of the detail in this is actually quite nice. This ammo counter on the side has been replaced because it's actually being used as a proper ammo counter, as well as the trigger on the bottom actually moves, where on the Shepperton one it's completely solid. This is just a prop. This has no purpose other than to look really cool and sit in your holster because it's nice and lightweight. That's the one thing about Shepperton ones, which if you do want to know more about this one, I have done a review of them on my channel. I'll probably put a little video link at the end of this video if you want to go check that out. But yeah, as I said, with the electronics and the extra work that goes into this, as well as the base price on the blaster, you're not being ripped off for price. It's just a more high-end price range if you can afford it. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to. If you want to and you have the money, you can. But there is some beauty about this electronics kit, which is if you want blaster sounds but you don't want it in an E11, you don't have to restrict yourself to it being in an E11. Of course, this is in an E11, so there's only one mode that I can really play with on this, but it comes preloaded with a bunch of gun sounds. So if you've got a different gun, say for example, if I got my 3D printed Republic Commander one and I wanted to put the correct sounds in that, I could get the kit or send in the gun and go, could you please do that for me there, and figure out a way to do it. So there are options out there if need be. So for now, I'm just going to run through the sounds that are actually on this. So we're just going to flick the little on switch on that's on the bottom. There we go, so that's nice and loaded up now. The one thing I will say about this, it is goddamn loud. I have not found anywhere to reduce the volume. It does have a volume off option. So if you just want the lights and no sound, you can have that, but the sound is really, really loud. Well, you kind of need it to be if you're at Comic-Con, because if you're in a room filled with several thousand people, that's loud already, so no one's going to hear it if you've got a really tiny, small speaker in. But when you're just playing about with it at home, It really hurts your ears, I'm just going to point that out. But I'm just going to go through all the sounds with you first. So you got a little switch up on the side here again. I'll show you all nice and close up in just a second. And that's where you access the menu from. So again, you can turn your audio on or off if you want to. You can change the display that's on your ammo counter and change the format of your blaster. So we're currently on E11. And each blaster has 3 different modes. So you have the standard, you have the heavy, and you have the stun. So everybody knows what an E11 standard and stun sounds like, but the heavy is slightly different. So we're currently on standard mode, so this is what standard sounds like. Then just with one little press, we're going to switch over to heavy. And switch to stun. That one's the loudest. And there is something else that's pretty cool with this blaster. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up. I think the speaker will be too loud, but you can hear it when you're firing it. There's a technical word for it, but I'm just going to call it a vibration thing. In the blaster, so when you fire it, it actually vibrates. Like if you're firing a gun on a video game, your controller vibrates, the very same thing. So that's pretty cool. So you've also got actual like feedback, as well as the sound, you've got physical feedback. So now I'm going to switch from E11 to whatever is next in the channel. We've got to go through all the settings to find it. Alright, so when we get onto the current weapon settings, you actually use the trigger to cycle through them. So the next one is E11D. It's a bit muffled sometimes, so I will be repeating everything she says. It's going to take us a while to get through all these sounds, so if you want to stick around, please do. If not, do feel free to skip ahead. But this is the E11D standard. Heavy. So you can't do it in quick succession for the heavy ones. And stun. The same as a normal E11. Okay, so this one is the DLT-19, which is the big boy I have in the back there. That doesn't make any noise, but if it did, it would sound a bit like this. I didn't even know DLTs had stun. I thought you just hit Ewoks with it. DL44, so this is Han Solo's blaster. I will point out, I'm not going to know all of these. I have a hard time remembering numbers as it is, let alone lots of different variations of them. I just know them as a particular character's gun. So you have to fire it one-handed because it's Han's blaster. It's the rules. Oh! That one was juicy. Now, does he have the same stun? I have gone through all of these, but I can't quite remember. Yeah, he does. Ooh, T21. That is the big old anti-tank gun that Sand Troopers are issued with. Ooh, that sounds almost like a sniper round, kind of. Ooh, that was incredibly satisfying. I could almost picture that going over the horizon. Yep, no, we definitely got him, sir. Is it the same? Yeah, that's the same. I'm not going to hold it that close to my ear again. E3. Alright, I can't understand what she's saying sometimes. This is Boba Fett's one, if I am correct.
Settings updated. Settings off.
Same stun.
E22.
E22. I don't know whose this is. F11D. Ooh. DC-15. This is one of the Clone Trooper ones. I do have it. It's hidden behind 2 Lucille's. It's actually back there. You can't see it at all, but I know it's there. It should sound like this. That's telling me it's getting low on ammunition, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. Oh, that was the same sound effect from the Republic Commando games. I just had a little chill there. Oh man. Now I want to play. No, I can't play Republic Commando. We've got work to do. So there is a reloading mechanic. Again, I shall go through that a little bit later because that also links into what's on the displays. It's just there's a lot of sounds to get through. Still, everyone sounds like they've got the same stun, and you notice for the clone blasters, it actually has blue instead of red. EC-17. SE-44C. No, I don't have a clue who that one is. You know what, I'm going to look them up when I'm editing this and put a little picture down in the bottom so you know what it looks like. Because I don't know what it looks like. I'll probably know it when I see it. And this is a Jill 44 apparently. Nope, not heard of that one either. So now there's a little bit something different on that one. We've actually got a yellow light. DH-17. Now this is probably going to be the closest one to my Republic Commando blaster, which is a DC-17M, and this is a DC-17. RT-97C. That sounded like someone just farted in a trumpet. Not gonna lie. Kinda dig it. Oh, that was a bassier one. Still has the same stun. SE-14R. Ooh. This is a heavy one that does allow for a bit of overlap on the trigger press. Oh, that close to my ears. Keep making that mistake. CA-87. Apparently, nothing. I don't know if the audio's bugged out. Hang on. Oh. It's just a light show now. Okay, CA-87. It's the stealth one, apparently. Try switching modes. There we go. That's not stealth. That's... I've just let off a small explosion. Bowcaster. Now this is Dad's. If I could do an impression of Tree right now, I'd do one, but I can't, so I'm not going to embarrass myself. That's nice, because it goes from yellow to red. That's pretty cool. Apparently this one is a DDC, but the lady on here just pronounced it as da-da-da, so we're just going to go with that. Sounds like someone trying to hammer something. Oh, that's an even bigger hammer. That's Mjolnir level of hammering. Okay. Got a little bit excited. I'm guessing you're still the same stun though. Oh, different stun. I think that's actually the same stun that's on. You know what? I'm going to compare. I recognise sounds well, I just don't know numbers. So this is the Hasbro one. That's got interchangeable bits. Oh, that's so much quieter in comparison. What, look, you just ruined that one with an explosion. Hang on, we'll try that again. Similar. That's like the tail end of the sound effect. And we've gone back to E11, and I also think I've just lost about 30% of my hearing from doing that. Oh my days. So we'll just quickly change our setup and I'll get to showing you what this looks like nice and close up. Right, so now let's get a nice up close and personal look with this blaster. So as I said, you've got a couple of changes from the standard E11 to this one. So here I can show you the difference between just the standard E11 ammo counter and the one for the blast effects. So the Shepperton one, as you can see, is just a resin cast. You can see the mould line just down the centre with a little sticker just on the back there. You can see it's fairly smooth and the details are, yeah, they're pretty good on there. Compared to this one, it's got more of like a textured pattern on it. The details are a little bit more pronounced. And on the back you actually have the display screen and the little switch for reloading and changing all your settings. You can see on the back here the scope is also different, so if we put these side by side you see the scope on the E11 is a printed sticker. So yes, the Shepperton one just has the sticker on it, a nice little sticker actually, gives you sort of like a crosshair detail. It's a reflective one as well. I give the illusion that you do have like some glass over the top. But this one is actually, it's either plastic or glass. I think it's plastic, but that's actually like a domed piece of a red plastic that actually goes over the interior display part for this. And you can also see in the barrel of the E11 where the light is mounted. You can't really see it through any of the other holes because of the T-tracks. But yeah, you can just see that silver bit there. That's the actual light bar. You compare that to the Shepperton one and you've only got like a black bar just running through the middle. And if you look close enough down the barrel you can see the LED, but I mean you have to get a good amount of light down there. You can't really see it that well to the naked eye. So at the bottom of the barrel here, I do believe the whole barrel is actually a replacement. It's slightly bigger. You have these two little parts here. You've got this one which is actually a micro USB, I believe, charging port. So this doesn't take batteries or anything. This is fully rechargeable. You don't have to take anything out. Just got to plug it in and charge it as it is. And then you've got this which is actually a little switch just to turn it on and off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to face it this way and turn it on so you can see what it does when it turns on. So here are your actual electronic display pieces. So you've got the one that's underneath that red plastic of the scope. This actually kind of gives me a little bit Terminator vibes, which is quite cool. As you see, it's just a small little rectangular screen sitting in there, but it's actually quite nice. Obviously, you can't see through it. You can't see through the scope anyway. So just having a little something there just gives it a little more element of realism. And like I said, you've actually got a proper ammo counter on this bit. Now this is set itself back to the DDC. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how the menu works. So we're going to set this back to an E11. As I said, you've got your little switch down on the bottom here. So what you do is you hold it down. And then that's taking you to the settings menu. Then you just press this once again to start scrolling through. So this one is set your audio on or off, so obviously if you want the sound effects, then you can have them on. It's actually, for the purposes of this demonstration, we'll have them off because they're quite loud and this is quite close to the camera. So you press your trigger, turn them off, and if you want to move on from that setting, so we'll just change our current weapon. We're going to change it to back to an E11. Okay. And the current display I've got is display number 2, but what we're going to do, we're just going to save this for now.
Settings updated. Settings off.
So you hold it down and then it goes back to normal. So you've got a couple of different displays which actually change what shows up here. Now this is actually my favourite one, so this is the one I've kept on default. And it actually registers how much ammunition you have left. So as you can see in this clip I've got 100 shots. So you can just keep pressing the trigger and it will count down how many times you've actually pressed it. Okay, so we're down to 33. I've actually gone and switched the audio back on because there's actually a little bit something I do need to show you for this. So once you start hitting 30 rounds left, you're actually going to get a warning noise, which we're going to hear if we start going down now. So that's the first warning noise, letting you know you've only got 30 rounds left in your clip. So we go down another 10. There's your second warning noise, you've only got 20 left. And that's your last one, so you got 10. One left. And then we're out. There's no more. I can't fire it at all. So to reload it, again, you just press this button. And we got our clip back again. Which is fantastic. Now, the reason I was going to turn the audio off in the first place was so you could hear the actual rumble system that's in here. So if I hold this close to the camera, I'm not entirely sure where it is situated in the gun, but if I fire it, hopefully the microphones pick that up, but that's actually the little rumble pack in there, so it actually vibrates when you shoot it, which actually feels kind of cool. Also, whilst the sound's off, it's a good time just to sort of show off the lights as well without going slightly deaf. So, as you would have seen when we were testing out all the sounds, you've got your main lights running through the barrel here, and also an LED at the very end. So this is just on the E-11 standard. And actually the light itself travels, sort of follows what the path of the blaster bolt would be. And the LED at the end itself is quite nice and bright. And as you did see from the sound demonstration, there are a couple of different light types. So obviously you've got the red one, you've got the blue one, which is normally used for the stun. And see, this one's got a slightly different animation. And you might be able to hear the rumble in there is actually a bit louder because it's on there for a bit longer. And on the couple of the other ones you did see, we also had the yellow LEDs. Again, some of them do have different variations of animation. Like you can see, this is the heavy one for the E-11, and it lingers at the end a lot more than the standard version does, as well as the rumble pack being on longer as well. So that, honestly, I think is the coolest thing about this, just having that little travelling light beam up the barrel. It definitely adds something to it. This is kind of why I went for the toy Hasbro one, just as my little holster weapon when I was thinking of first getting the DLT-19, just because it had some sounds and a little light effect in there as well. But yeah, this is definitely a little step up from just the Hasbro ones, and these LEDs are really nice and bright as well. So even if you're in a place that's like the front part of MCM, which is actually really bright if the sun's out, you'll still be able to see the LEDs on here. Because I know red LEDs don't show up as well as like blue or green ones, but these are actually really nice and bright too. So here's a demonstration of the yellow LEDs up close as well. So this is actually on the Guile 40 something. Again, I can't remember the name, but this is slightly different to the bowcaster one because it actually stays yellow at the end. With the bowcaster one, actually the end one turns red. So again, you've got these different animations for the lights that match how long the sound plays for. So it's not just all one standard animation, which is nice. Everything has been customized. And the last thing I want to show is actually changing the display up on here. So as I said, I currently use display 2. It's my favorite one. But we're going to go to 1, and I'm going to show you them all in sequence. So this one is counter number 1. So obviously you've got the actual name of the product here is Blast VFX version 2. It tells you what setting blaster you have it on, so I've now switched it back to E11. And it also tells you what actual setting the blaster itself is on, as well as your ammo count here. So just this little circle, this means it's just in standard mode. And if you press it again, see that little circle's filled in, so now it's in heavy mode. Press it one more time. So the little twin circles, that means it's on stun. As you see, we're kind of low on ammo. You've got the actual number count here, but you've got the little bar that goes across the bottom as well. And then once that goes, no bar across the bottom. You also notice that the readout is a little glitchy. It kind of fits in with the whole kind of slightly defunct style of everything in the original Star Wars universe being a bit grimy and cool. I kind of like it being glitchy. It gives it a little bit of character. But here now you can see it reads empty. So we got nothing left in there. So we're actually going to reload. You know, it says charging. the bar goes back up to full, the counter goes back up to 100, and we're ready to go. So let's now switch this to back to setting 2. So this is my current favourite, number 2. As you can see, it just tells you what weapon you currently have on, just the full easy read ammo count and the numbers below. It doesn't tell you what setting you have your gun on, that doesn't change. So you just gotta have to remember what setting you've left your gun on. So this version of the counter is actually a little bit different and makes the gun behave slightly differently. As you can see, it just tells you it's blast effects, tells you what gun it is, what mode it's in. But this one, instead of actually counting down to when you need to reload, it just constantly counts how many shots you fired at any given time that you've had it switched on. So it won't need reloading at all, so you don't have to worry about it making random noises on you. So if you just wanted it just at a simple mode for conventions, you can shoot it as many times as you like, and it just, all it does is tell you how many times you've done it. So obviously I just kind of like the thing of having it on a reload, so I'm just going to switch it back to my main one of number 2. So there you have it, that is your Blast Effects E-11 rifle, fully complete. This is a really nice piece of kit. This is something though, for the price, I would actually be quite afraid to take out to a convention just in case it gets stolen. Unfortunately, these things do happen at events. People get their props stolen, people get their full costume stolen. It does happen. A lot of times it is returned, people do find them. But again, this is something that if you do have the money to spend and you really like the look of this, it is a really nice bit of kit. But if you're worried about losing your gun at an event or having it stolen, I definitely recommend going for something a little bit lower price. But if you're an avid collector and maybe you just want this as like a centerpiece, like again, pretty much every Star Wars fan has a lightsaber. This is kind of like that, but it's a weapon from apparently a less civilized age. I have to disagree there. I think E11s are amazing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and this little look at one of TRamp's really nice pieces. Again, if you're looking to get electronic work for your Star Wars costume or another project, he's actually a really nice guy to ask and talk to. He's actually helping out on a couple of different projects. Obviously not for free. Some people think we get sent a lot of things for free, but we don't. You just got to talk to people and ask, hey, can you help me out on this? And a lot of people in the cosplay community are really nice and really friendly, so he said yes. So thank you very much for watching. A big thank you as always goes out to my supporters on Patreon, especially to Jeff Kenny. So if you like what I do here, you can look in the links below and have a look around on my Patreon, see if you like the stuff there. If you want to support me, that'll be fine. If not, then just like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment. It's all good. It's all good. And I'll see you in the next video, and as always, may the Force be with you.